Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Susan and I'm here to make physiology feel easy. Today we are going to simplify one of the most important topics of physiology, the cell membrane, using MediStudy Go's Mind Maps Physiology, authored by Dr. Swapnil Parlekar, which will help you understand and revise it in a simple, structured way, wherein each mind map has to be read in a clockwise manner, color-coded beginning with yellow, blue, orange and then purple. Once we've understood this, let's begin with the big picture. We know that every living organism, be it the smallest hummingbird or the biggest whale, is made up of the structural and functional unit called cell. The human body itself is made up of 100 trillion cells. As we can see here, the cell is made up of the cell membrane, which forms the fencing or the boundary, then the nucleus, which acts as the control center, and the cytoplasm along with its organelles. Let's begin with the nucleus, which is also called as the metabolic center or the control center of the cell. Okay, it contains the nucleoplasm, which is the cytoplasm of the nucleus, the DNA, which is the genetic material, hence it is called as the control center, and the chromatin. Now this DNA, which is the genetic material, gets converted into an RNA, and this information from an RNA goes to the ribosome wherein the proteins are formed. Okay, so to understand that, we have briefly seen the overview of what is happening in the cell. The nucleus, which contains the DNA, gets converted into an RNA, specifically an mRNA. This process is called as transcription, and this RNA now goes to the proteins, right? So this RNA, when it gets converted to a protein, it is known as translation, which happens in the ribosomes. This protein goes into the endoplasmic reticulum, wherein it is processed, and then it goes to the Golgi apparatus for packaging. Okay, now that we have understood this overview, let's begin with the cytoplasm, which surrounds the nucleus, and the cell organelles which are present into it. Okay, so let's begin with the ribosomes. The ribosomes are the protein factory of the cell. We just now talked about it. It synthesizes the proteins, right? Then those proteins go to the endoplasmic reticulum, which are of two types. When the ribosomes are attached to the surface of the endoplasmic reticulum, they look as rough. So they are called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. When there's no ribosomes attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, it is called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which functions to synthesize lipids. Okay, the rough endoplasmic reticulum functions to synthesize proteins. So this processes the proteins which are synthesized in the ribosomes, and now these proteins go to the Golgi apparatus wherein it is packaged. Okay, wherein it is packaged, and it is called as the packaging center of the cell. Right? Then there is the mitochondria, which is also known as the powerhouse of the cell, because it synthesizes energy in the form of ATP, adenine triphosphate, by oxidative phosphorylation. That is, in the presence of oxygen during aerobic respiration, it phosphorylates or adds phosphate to the adenosine, right? Therefore called as adenosine triphosphate. Now this mitochondria is important for apoptosis, which is nothing but your programmed cell death. Wherein a cell becomes old, it undergoes cell death on its own without harming or injuring the neighboring cells. Then during the process of fertilization, wherein a mother's ovum and the father's sperm combine to form the zygote, the mitochondria is present only in the ovum. Therefore, each and every mitochondria in our body comes from our mother, therefore called as maternal inheritance. Then there are the lysosomes, which contain the digestive enzymes, right? These lysosomes, they contain digestive enzymes that help digest unwanted material from our body, such as bacteria and protein debris. Now, when these lysosomal enzymes, when they are released into the cells, they can cause the death of the cell itself. Therefore, they are also called as suicide bags of the cell. Right? Then there are the peroxisomes, which detoxify waste products, specifically hydrogen peroxide. Hence the name, because it breaks down hydrogen peroxide, it is also known as peroxisomes, which is also called as the sewage treatment plant of the cell. Pause the video for a moment and now see if you can recall all the functions of the organelles discussed without looking at your notes. Now, if you're using the MediStudy Go's app, which you can download from Play Store or App Store, you can revise this concept in seconds using flashcards such as this, which asks which organelles packs proteins into secretory vesicles. You know the answer, that is the Golgi apparatus, right? You can access this flashcard as well as many others in the MediStudy Go app. Now let us discuss the most important part of today's lecture, the cell membrane or the plasma membrane, which is explained by the Fluid Mosaic Model, which says that the cell membrane is made up of lipids, proteins and carbohydrates. The basic framework is formed by the phospholipids, which forms a lipid bilayer wherein each molecule of phospholipid contains of a hydrophilic head. Hydro means water, philic or philia means loving, right? So a water loving head and a hydrophobic, phobia means fear. So a water fearing tails. Now since our body is made up of 60% of water, these are arranged in a sense that the water loving heads are facing outwards and the water fearing tails are facing inward. Okay, so they are arranged in the form of a sandwich with the tails facing inward. Not only are these tails hydrophobic, but they are also lipophilic, which means they are lipid loving, which gives the cell membrane a lipophilic character. Then there is the cholesterol, which provides stability to the cell, right? Next, the proteins. Now there are two types of proteins, integral proteins and peripheral proteins. Integral proteins, the name itself suggests that they are integrated into the cell membrane, which is they are embedded into the cell membrane, passing through and through both the layers of the cell membrane. Since they go through and through, they can act as channels for water-soluble molecules, then carriers or pumps. Then there are peripheral proteins, which do not go through and through but are attached to any one layer of the cell membrane. They are anchored to the cytoskeleton, and examples are spectrin and ankyrin. Then there are carbohydrates, which are again of two types. When they are attached to proteins, they are called as glycoproteins. Glyco means carbohydrates, and when they are attached to proteins, they are called as glycoproteins. And when they are attached to lipids, they are called as glycolipids, right? They form the glycocalyx and they function as cell adhesion molecules. Now the fluid mosaic model. The fluidity in the fluid mosaic model is given by the lipids, particularly the cholesterol, and mosaic is the random arrangement of the proteins in the cell membrane. Now the cell membrane gives our cells the perfect shape that it needs to be in, and if there is any defect in the cell membrane, such as a defect in the peripheral protein spectrin, it causes the biconcave RBCs to become spherical, right? So the normal shape of the RBC is biconcave, which helps the RBC fold through and pass through minute capillaries and blood vessels to reach to each and every cell in the body to provide nutrients and oxygen. When this biconcave shape becomes spherical now, what happens is that it becomes difficult for the RBC to pass through the capillaries and they break down, which is called as hemolysis. And this hereditary condition is called as hereditary spherocytosis, a spherical cell. Now neighboring cells in the tissues are connected to each other by specialized structures called as intercellular junctions, right? There are different types of intercellular junctions. There is the tight junction, which helps in linking the adjacent cells to each other by proteins such as claudins or occludins, and something called as junctional additional molecules known as JAM proteins, right? Now these tight junctions prevent the passage of molecules from between two cells, which is called as paracellular transport, okay? So there are two types of tight junctions. One is the leaky tight junctions, which allows some molecules to pass through, present in the proximal convoluted tubule of the kidney. Then there are the tight junctions, which do not allow anything to pass between two cells, which are present in the distal tubules of the kidneys. Then there are the Adherens Junctions, which provide mechanical attachment to the cells. Now let's look at Desmosomes, which provide very strong anchoring junctions to the cell. They are formed by joining two adjacent cells at proteins called as cadherins, okay? And intermediate filaments are attached to them. Now these desmosomes are particularly important because they provide resistance against mechanical stress, right? And which tissues undergo constant or continuous mechanical stress, such as the skin and the oral mucosa. This is particularly important for BDS students, wherein the oral epithelium is subjected to continuous mechanical stress. And when there is any defect in these desmosomes, these lead to blistering and scaling of the skin. Why? Because now the skin cells which were attached to each other are becoming loose, right? Because of an autoimmune condition called as Pemphigus, okay? Now the third type of intercellular junctions are the gap junctions. Now let's look at the structure of gap junctions in detail. Now each gap junction is formed of 6 molecules of connexin. This you can see is one single molecule of protein is called as connexin, and when 6 connexin molecules form together the connexon, which is called as the gap junction. Okay. Now in between these connexons or connexins, there is a space which allows for direct transfer of small molecules to pass through between two cells from one cytoplasm of one cell to the cytoplasm of another cell. As you can see here, this molecule can pass through without any obstruction to the adjacent cell. This is known as the gap junction, which is formed by proteins called as connexins we just saw, and they permit passage of ions and electrical charge. Now if you'd like concise revision notes of what we've discussed so far and more, you can access notes in our MediStudy Goes app like these, wherein you can see that everything is given in a concise manner that will help you revise for your Viva, as well as with neat pointers such as this, like a gap junction is a paired connexon with each is a hexamer of 6 connexin molecules, right? And it permits less than 1 kilodalton, that's the weight, right? Less than 1 kilodalton molecules plus ions to flow from cytoplasm to cytoplasm directly, right? Then there are tight junctions. We discussed about these seals which do not allow paracellular transport. Then there are anchoring family. We already discussed about that. That is the Desmosomes and Adherens, right? Again, these are neat pointers which will help you also ace your NEET MDS exams. Now let's quickly solve an exam style MCQ which is available in the MediStudy Go app, which says, the cell junctions allowing exchange of cytoplasmic molecule between two cells is called, you know that the direct exchange occurs through gap junctions, right? So you can see the answer as well as the explanation as well. You can access this MCQ as well as you can tell me which is the gap junction protein. It is the connexon. Now you know about this, right? So you can access these and many more in the MediStudy Go app. If you found this lecture helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and consider sharing with your batchmates. This is Dr. Susan and thank you for learning with me.